If you grow up hearing the legends of Indian history, one image of Maharana Pratap stands above the rest. He is remembered as the Hindua Suraj. The geopolitical reality facing his kingdom of Mewar was bleak. Akbar's Mughal empire had rapidly expanded across the subcontinent, using a mix of diplomacy and brute force to absorb nearly every surrounding Rajput state. Mewar was completely isolated. When the inevitable clash finally happened at the narrow pass of Haldighati, the numbers were staggering. Modern estimates place over 10,000 heavily armed Mughal troops, facing down roughly 3,000 Mewari horsemen and local archers. The traditional telling of this battle frames it as a solitary last stand, painting a picture of a king who rode into a suicidal bottleneck entirely alone, carrying the weight of his kingdom on his shoulders. But the historical record shows something far more interesting. Mewar survived because Pratap built a highly coordinated, diverse coalition. Marginalized tribes, wealthy merchants, and Afghan commanders all bled to defend a shared homeland. The opening charge at Haldighati was ferocious. The Mewari vanguard smashed directly into the Mughal left wing, throwing them into chaos. And the commander leading that desperate high-speed assault was Hakim Khan Suri, an Afghan Muslim. Hakim Khan brought a contingent of Afghan warriors who had their own grievances against the expanding Mughal state. He fought and died on that battlefield, demonstrating that this conflict was driven by regional independence and anti-imperialism rather than strict religious division. As the battle wore on, the momentum shifted. Pratap found himself trapped in the fighting. A Mughal war elephant, swinging a massive sword attached to its trunk, struck his horse, Chetak. The stallion was crippled, and the king was suddenly surrounded. Observing this from the chaos was one of Pratap's most trusted commanders, Jala Bida. For a Rajput soldier, there is a core principle known as Swami Bhakti, the ultimate absolute devotion to one's master. Bida saw his king about to be overrun. He rushed through the fray, seized the royal canopy from Pratap, and placed it directly over his own head. He deliberately made himself the highest value target on the field. The Mughal swarm, hunting for the king, immediately shifted their entire assault onto Bida. He and his 350 men fought to the bitter end, pulling the enemy away long enough for Pratap to escape into the hills. Pratap lived to fight another day because a subordinate looked at an impossible situation and chose certain death to ensure his king's survival. The escape, however, left Pratap's army fractured. He retreated deep into the Aravalli range, a rugged, unforgiving expanse of dense forests and steep ridges, where conventional armies struggled to operate. This territory belonged to the indigenous Bhil tribe. Led by a chieftain named Punja, they were traditionally marginalized by the ruling classes, but Pratap integrated them directly into his inner circle, treating them as vital military equals. The Bhils provided an intelligence network the Mughals couldn't crack. Armed with short bows and intimate knowledge of the terrain, they launched lethal, invisible strikes from the ridges, consistently paralyzing Mughal supply lines. Later, romanticized accounts claimed Pratap and his men survived on rotis made of grass. In reality, the Bhils sustained the resistance with their local stores of maize and their mastery of the forests, keeping the army fed and hidden. But food and terrain alone cannot fund a war. As the months turned into years, Mewar's treasury was entirely empty. Soldiers needed pay, and weapons needed replacing. At this critical juncture, a wealthy Jain minister named Bama Shah stepped in. He handed over his entire life's fortune to the king, a staggering sum estimated to be enough to arm and feed 25,000 soldiers for 12 years. By combining the geographic mastery of the Bhil archers with the massive financial backing of a Jain merchant, Pratap rebuilt his shattered forces into an unstoppable insurgency. For centuries, Haldighati has often been recorded as a decisive Mughal victory. Yet Akbar never achieved his primary objectives. He neither captured Pratap, nor did he successfully subjugate the region. Modern archaeological evidence confirms this. We have recovered renewed land deeds, inscribed on copper plates, issued by Pratap shortly after the battle. This proves he maintained an active, functioning administration, distributing land even while waging a guerrilla war. Over the next 2 decades, Pratap systematically pushed back. He exhausted the Mughal forces, reclaiming dozens of fortresses and almost all of Mewar's lost territories. Today, you can visit the narrow pass where the resistance began. It gets its name, Haldighati, from the yellowish rocks resembling crushed turmeric, or haldi. The soil there absorbed the blood of Rajput cavalrymen, of Afghan commanders, indigenous Bhil archers, and Jain financiers. They all fought and they died together. Maharana Pratap's ultimate military genius was his ability to forge those diverse factions into a single, unbreakable alliance. He built a coalition that humiliated an empire, proving that a kingdom's true strength lies in the people who choose to defend it.